back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today I am sharing with you my health food must-haves. So these are all the different foods that I love to keep my cupboard stocked up with so that I'm never in a panic and I always have plenty of supplies in for creating healthy, simple, delicious meals. I feel like this video will be great for if you're trying to get into cooking more or wanting to eat a bit healthier, or if you're just moving somewhere where you have to cook for yourself for the first time, or going to uni and you're living somewhere that's self-catered, then this video may really help you to get an idea of things that should be on your weekly shopping list and what to always just have around so that you've always got food and you're guaranteed to have a nice meal. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, I'm going to kind of do this in different little categories. I'm going to start with sort of your grains and dried things to keep in your cupboard. My first one is oats. Honestly, I love oats so much. The obvious choice for them would be to make porridge, or now also overnight oats as well. They're great for breakfast, particularly if you have a busy working life or having to get up early for lectures or whatever that may be. I honestly love overnight oats so much, and there's so many different flavour combos you can do with them, but they're also so versatile and so great. You can make your own granola using them, using things like almond butter and maple syrup and oats. You can create a really amazing tasting granola, or create granola bars with them, or even use them in baking. You can ground oats down to create a flour, which is particularly useful if you're having to avoid gluten or you're on a gluten-free diet. Oat flour is such a great alternative to your standard flour, and what I recommend for that is definitely just buying the oats as they are and then just grinding them yourself in a blender. It literally takes 2 seconds and it's so much cheaper than buying oat flour itself. My next one is quinoa, which is such a versatile, great, I was gonna say grain, but I think it's actually a seed, and I love having a mixture of different quinoas just because of the different colours. I don't actually know like what the health benefits are of the different ones or whether they all sort of have the same nutritional value really, but I love having a mixture of red, white and occasionally black quinoa as well. And this is just a great side for any kind of dish really where you'd normally have rice or pasta, also great in salads mixed in too. So then that actually brings me on to rice, and I always love to have brown rice in my cupboards as I do love to have a lot of sort of Mexican dishes like chili, or also curries as well, and brown rice just goes so great with that, and it's just a great side to have with any other simple dish with just roast veg, or again in lunch for salads as well. It works really well. The next one is actually something called millet, which is less heard of and less used. I've only started recently using it. When I first tried this, the texture really reminded me of like scrambled eggs. Let me know if you've had millet before and what you think of it. But again, this is another great gluten-free grain, and yeah, if you can't have eggs because either you're intolerant to them or you follow a plant-based or vegan diet, then millet is so great. I never actually used to really like the taste of eggs or scrambled eggs, but I did actually quite like the texture of them, which is something you get from millet, but it's quite a plain tasting kind of thing, but with the texture of scrambled eggs. So you could use it even for breakfast on toast as well, to create like scrambled eggs on toast, or again as a side to any main dish or salad at lunch as well. Moving on to some fresher foods, it's always great to have a whole range of different fruits and veg in your cupboards, and well, or in your fridge really, where it mainly would go. I think that getting in a supply of fresh fruit and veg each week is so great, as it's so versatile, the different things you can do with it. Fruit's great to snack on or to incorporate into breakfast as well, or for baking. And then fresh veg, obviously it's great to get loads of fresh veg into your diet. And I think each week it's great to try and find something new or something different that you haven't tried before, and sort of challenge yourself each week to try cooking something with that new veg that you found. And it sort of keeps it interesting, changes up your meals a little bit, and you might even discover something new that you really love that you never would have tried otherwise. And also for this, it's great to go to either a local fresh farmer's fruit and veg market or some kind of store which has locally sourced produce, as these are the ones which will get in new things all the time as their supplies change according to the seasons. So they're great places to go to for discovering new fruit and veg, as well as also having a supply of dried fruit. I honestly use so much dried fruit in my breakfast mainly, or again to snack on. Medjool dates I honestly love so much. They make such a great tasty snack, or you can make so many different things with them. You can add them to things like healthier milkshakes or protein shakes as a natural sweetener. You can use them in baking again instead of using refined sugar. Also to make little energy balls, they're great for doing that, and again Energy balls you can make in so many different flavors. You can use raw cacao powder with dates to make energy balls, and it honestly tastes like little chocolate truffles. It's such a tasty snack. Or one of my favorite things that I've discovered, if you haven't tried this, you're missing out. Dates stuffed with almond butter, particularly crunchy almond butter, is such a winning combo, and the chewy date with the crunchy bits of the almond, it's such a lovely texture. Oh yeah, one fruit as well that I forgot to mention before that I always will stock up on is bananas. Honestly, they're so versatile. They can be used in baking to replace eggs. You can create things like pancakes with them. You can freeze them and have them in smoothies, and it adds that extra creaminess. Or you can even make ice cream out of them. Honestly, the different things you can do with bananas is endless. Or you can even just have them as they are as a snack or on breakfast or whatever it may be. And again, banana and almond butter makes for another great snack combo. Then moving on to some tinned stuff, it's always great as well to have a variety of different tinned pulses and veg, as you can just keep these in your cupboards and they're so versatile. You can add them to so many different dishes, and if it's getting towards the end of the week or you're running out of fresh produce, or it's starting to go out of date a bit or not be quite so nice anymore, as it sometimes does towards the end of the week, then it's great to keep stocked up on things like different beans. There's so many different varieties: kidney beans, pinto beans, I love adding to Mexican dishes, cannellini beans, butter beans, haricot beans. Honestly, there's so many different types that you can have. Then also things like lentils, and again, you can get dried lentils or canned and tinned ones. Dried lentils last a long time as well. I love red lentils, or just green lentils as well are great for adding to things like curries or creating bolognese sauces without the meat. And then also chickpeas as well are another great one to have. They're so versatile. You can even create sort of chickpea tuna. If you used to like tuna mayo sandwiches but are vegan now, or whatever reason it may be that you no longer eat tuna or mayo, then they're great to have for recreating a chickpea tuna. I'll find some recipe online and link it down below so you can see what I'm on about. Or also making things like falafel. Again, chickpeas work great in curries. Honestly, so many pulses and tinned veggies can work in so many dishes, and they're gonna last a long time, so they're great to just always have in the cupboard. As well as tinned tomatoes. I honestly get through so many tinned tomatoes. I use them in Mexican dishes, in curries, in pasta dishes. They are so great for creating sauces of loads of different kinds. Talking of sort of Mexican and Indian dishes and like flavorings, that brings me on to spices and herbs. Again, these will last forever in your cupboard, and I love keeping stocked up on things like cumin. It can work so great in so many different dishes, in curries and Mexican inspired dishes, as well as flavouring things like falafel or whatever you may be creating. Paprika is another great one, cayenne pepper for a bit of spice. Salt and black pepper, of course, are always staples to have in your cupboard. And then also things like ginger, turmeric, ground coriander, and then also some dried herbs like basil and oregano are usually my go-to ones for sort of mainly pasta dishes or Italian inspired dishes as well. And then also things like rosemary and thyme. I don't use those as often, but they're great for when you're roasting veg, so like carrots and roast potatoes. They can work really well with that. Then I always like to keep in a supply of healthy snacks, so whenever you're feeling hungry, you have something that you can just grab and eat, and you know it's going to be good for you as well. Some of my favourite brands, which you definitely would have heard of, include Livia's Kitchen. If you're craving something sweet but don't want to overindulge, then her products are great for that, as well as all her recipes on her blog. Then Deliciously Ella, her oat bars are super tasty. I actually did a video fairly recently with all my favourite sort of health food bloggers and YouTubers and Instagrammers, so I will leave a link to that video down below, as well as a Planet Organic haul that I did a few months ago with some of my favourite brands in there and some snacks as well for you to get an idea. But you can, like I said before as well, use fresh fruit as a snack, or you can even make your own things like granola bars and energy bars and just keep a supply of those so you have them for whenever you're feeling hungry. Now, you would have noticed that I've mentioned almond butter a couple of times. This is such a staple in my cupboard. I love it on breakfast, I love it with fruit as a snack, I love it drizzled over all sorts. You can make salad dressings from it or sauces using almond butter, as well as incorporating it into baking. It's so great. And making things like fudge and toffee with a bit of maple syrup, coconut oil, almond butter, it all makes like this lovely toffee caramel kind of thing, which tastes amazing as well. I honestly am like addicted to almond butter. So having some kind of nut butter I think is always so great and versatile. Of course there's your classic peanut butter, which personally I'm not a fan of peanut butter. That's why I tend to stick to almond, but there's also so many other ones. I have a cocoa and hazelnut one actually, which is like a healthier Nutella in a way. It's by Meridian, of course. It's my favourite brand of nut butter. That's where I always get all my almond butter from as well. And then they also make a cashew butter, which is creamier, and this works again so well in baking, particularly for making things like blondies or lemon cakes as well, where you want that little creaminess added but without sort of an empowering flavour. That one works quite well for. And then you can even get seed butters as well, so like pumpkin seed butter, sunflower seed butter. I'm yet to try any seed butters, but obviously if you have a nut allergy, then they are a great alternative. Another thing which I did kind of mention before is maple syrup. It's great for when you're just wanting to add a little bit of sweetness to something, or in baking again, and it's completely natural maple syrup, so it's a great natural sweetener for just when you're craving that little bit something sweet. The next thing that I always like to have is coconut oil. This is great for cooking with, especially because at high temperatures it doesn't break down into sort of, I can't remember the exact chemical name for it, but the toxic chemicals that a lot of oils do, such as olive oil as well. And then also again, coconut oil is great in baking or for even making your own chocolate. You can use coconut oil, maple syrup and raw cacao powder, and that works so well together. That kind of brings me on to another thing, which is raw cacao powder as well. Great in porridge, overnight oats, for baking, just when you're craving chocolate, but it's the completely raw form of it, so it still holds such a great nutritional value. It's high in magnesium, iron, zinc. It's great for boosting your mood as well, and who doesn't love a bit of chocolate? Then that brings me on to my last couple of items, which are chia seeds and flax seeds. Both of these are great sources of omega-3, and they can be used as egg replacements in baking just by mixing 1 tablespoon of either of them with 3 tablespoons of water, leaving it aside for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it will thicken up, go kind of like an egg consistency. Works so great for binding things in baking, as well as chia seeds are so great for making overnight oats. It really makes them that extra bit creamy and thicker, which makes them taste that even a little bit better. So those were all of my sort of health food must-haves, your kind of staples to have in your kitchen. Obviously you don't need to stock up on every single one of them, so like the grains, you could pick a few that you prefer over others, your fruit and veg, all the different things that I mentioned, you can pick and choose from the kind of different categories of things. But when you've got all those things in your cupboard, honestly, different combinations, meals and things you can create using them is endless. So that is my list of kind of things that would be on my sort of like weekly grocery shop, or well, anything off there which I run out of. They're the things that I buy most often. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you found it useful, like I said, for whether you're trying to cook a bit more or start to eat a bit healthier, or having to cook for yourself for the first time. Buying all these ingredients in will really help you to start creating some great nutritious meals. If you did enjoy this video and you did find it useful, be sure to smash a big thumbs up so that I know you enjoyed it. As well, don't forget to click on that little red subscribe button down below. I'd love it if you could do that for me, as well as tapping on that notifications bell so that you're notified whenever I upload. And I will be sure to see you on Sunday with a brand new video. Bye!